Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon from wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of the Unapologetic Conversations. I'm your unapologetic dude, Francis Miranda, and today we're going to be talking a lot about color. I love colorful things. People who know me, they know that I'm a very colorful guy. I love bright, shiny, colorful stuff. And it's very interesting because, when we start off our lives, we often think that, our lives are very rosy or very colorful. But sometimes life has this tendency of really sucking the color out of our life. And before we know it, suddenly what used to be a very, very bright vista is now suddenly a dull, depressing landscape. But our guest for today is going to help us bring color back in our lives. I'm very excited for this guest because she is not just a life coach. She is the creator of this amazing program called Color Me Unstoppable, where she equips people with the necessary skills to identify whether their life has become black and white and how to re-inject color into this. We vibe, we get along well because precisely we both love our colors. So it is my honor and my pleasure right now to introduce our special guest. She's a life coach. Let's give a warm round of applause to Lesley Rosas. Hello, Lesley.
Hello, Francis. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much for joining the show today.
Yes, thank
So
you for
we're very
having me.
excited, and let's get the ball rolling. Okay.
Okay.
So, for many of us, we start off with our lives with this hope that our life is going to be colorful, it's going to be rosy, it's going to be beautiful, right? But you and I both know that life isn't so kind sometimes. That there are moments when life actually slowly sucks the color, drains the color out of our lives. And
Mhm.
this is such a subtle, subtle, subtle moment because many of us don't even notice it happening. And before we know it, we're just looking around and suddenly our lives don't have that energy. So, my question for you is, since many people are unaware of that, what are some of the warning signs that you have that your life is losing color right now?
Well, number one for me would be like a lack of hope, just a hopelessness,
Uh-huh.
feeling lost. Like maybe you don't even want to do the things that you totally love. Maybe you've
Hmm.
stopped dreaming.
Okay.
And maybe you don't even know what color you like.
Mm.
You
Wow.
know, there's emotions that come up. Maybe you have uncontrolled emotions,
Hmm.
anger, frustration. You're finding it hard to find the silver lining in your cloud.
Hmm. Well, there's something that you mentioned that intrigues me. You said that you can't even identify your favorite color. Why did
Yeah.
you say that?
There was a time when one of my kids asked me, Mom,
Uh-huh.
what's your favorite color? And I looked at the color crown box that was sitting in front of him, and I didn't know. I
Wow.
didn't know what my favorite color was anymore.
So you did not know what your favorite color was. So
Yeah.
where did that come from, Leslie? I mean, ask knowing your favorite color is such a basic thing, right? Like, if you'd ask me,
Right.
"Okay, what's my favorite color?" Oh, it's red, right? Um,
Right.
but in your case, what caused it? Why did you suddenly lose that ability to choose your favorite color?
I think that it had to do with my environment. You
Okay.
know, at the time I was living in a Mennonite culture as a
Mm-hmm.
Mennonite, and my favorite color wasn't allowed. We
Oh,
weren't allowed to wear red, and we weren't allowed different colors. So red
I
is
don't
my
wear
favorite
wear red,
color. I
so I
know.
can't become a
You
Mennonite because I
said
like
you
red.
said a life without color would be scary to you,
Uh-huh.
but red was not allowed.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just found myself so oppressed that I didn't even see color anymore. I just walked around looking down.
Wow. So you were a Mennonite before, and I'm sure that life
Yes.
was a very challenging life for you as well. So
Yes.
my question though is that, because I don't know a lot about the Mennonite culture, but what I do know about it is that it's a very very strong religious group, right?
Yes.
So I could imagine that making changes, for example, asserting what you wanted was something that wasn't very welcome?
No, no, no. When I ended up leaving the
Uh-huh.
Mennonites 10 years ago.
Wow.
And if it's okay, I'll just share a little bit about that,
Oh
and then
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
answer your
Sure, sure.
question. So, 10 years ago, I left my emotionally and physically abusive husband
Hmm.
on our 25th wedding anniversary
Wow.
with a 10-man tent and my 12 kids.
Hmm.
And soon after that, I got a restraining order while we lived out of the 10-man tent for the next 3 months, homeless. And then I got custody of my kids, and I was able to move myself and my kids to my hometown where I grew up,
Hmm.
and got us a house to live in. And for the first time in their lives, my kids, they're safe and
Mm.
I'm free, right? But I don't feel free. I feel stuck and I feel frozen.
Mm.
And there's this day when I'm walking down Main Street, Francis. I'm walking down Main Street of my hometown. This is where I grew up.
Uh-huh.
And I'm passing people I know, but I'm looking down. I'm looking down at the sidewalk, the gray sidewalk, just putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm looking at my black leather shoes, my Mennonite issued black leather shoes, and the skirt of my navy blue cape dress. And I know this dress like the back of my hand. I mean, I've sewn hundreds of these over the years, 17 years, every season, every year, the same dress. And I'm thinking, this is how I feel. I just feel like this sidewalk, useless, trod under,
Hmm.
gray. And I look up, and in the shop window, something catches my eye. But my first thought is, oh, they're red, and I'm not allowed to wear red. And then I was like, oh, they're red. And it was the most incredible pair of red. You're going to love this red rubber high top lace up Converse boots.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Okay. And I go in the store and they're my exact size. So I bought those shoes and I wore them home. And I put those red shoes on. It was like magic for me.
Hmm.
It was, I had inserted color back into my life, and that was the beginning. So when I'm walking down the sidewalk after that, I'm looking up and thinking, I have red boots on.
Amazing.
So remind me your question, because I needed to tell you that to answer your question.
So the question was really how did this journey pan out? Like for
Yeah.
example, I could and the way you describe the story, Lesley, it's almost like a movie in my head. I could already
Yes.
imagine a scene of you walking in your hometown. Everything is black and white. You're black and white, and then
Yeah.
suddenly on the store window there are these red Converse shoes, right? And then when you
Right.
put them on, little by little color is emanating in your life and you're
That's
becoming
right.
colored, right?
Yes.
And that was such a powerful journey. And I think a lot of people are stuck where you were, which is that they're looking down on the ground. Their entire world has become black and white.
Yes.
What advice would you give them so that they can find that red, that one piece of red thing that will
Hmm.
reignite color in their life?
To infuse color into their life.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an excellent question. And I had someone ask me one day, they said to me, Lesley, what would you love?
Mm.
And I think that's such a powerful question. We do not ask ourselves. We do not allow, after we become a certain age, we stop dreaming. Like so
Mm.
many of us, we get caught up in bills, money, mom and dad are sick, children, bad relationship, things we're going through, a divorce, and we do not think to ourselves, what would we love? So I'm here. I've got my kids settled in my hometown. I'm safe. And I have a
Mhm.
like a blank blackboard. Let's
Mhm.
just say it's white clean. I have a blank slate, right?
Yes.
So what would I love? What would you love if you could wipe your slate clean? Or if you could use it as a stepping stone, what would you love? And I have this little thing that I use for myself. You know what a GIF is? I'm sure you do. A GIFF, the
Oh, like
little thing you use on Facebook there where
yeah,
someone's like
yeah.
over and over. Okay, so I use the acronym GIF, and the first letter G is for gratitude.
Hmm.
And in all of your situations, it doesn't matter what's happening in your life, find one thing each day that you can give gratitude for. And I know we hear this, have a gratitude journal. What are
Hmm.
you thankful for? But I mean that deep down, I am so grateful for what?
Hmm.
So, what would I love? And then gift, beginning with gratitude.
Okay.
Then it is get in tune,
In
get
tune.
interested, in tuned and interested. Look around, start looking around. I'm walking down the sidewalk, I'm looking down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to change my life looking down. And so often we take our brain and we're replaying over and over and over the conversation we had with that person that didn't go well, or the mistake we made, or something that reminded us something of the past, right? And we get in this place where we're just here, so we're down. We're not looking up. We're not seeing the colors around us. Today I was riding in my car. Of course, I have a red Mini Cooper, okay? I'm
Wow.
riding in my car. It's a dreary, rainy day here. And what we hear from everyone is it's raining. Is it still raining? It's raining. And I'm looking and I'm driving, and this is what I mean when I say get interested. I said, okay, it's interesting, it's raining. What's interesting? And I noticed that the droplets of water on my
Hmm.
windshield were reflecting light and they had color. If I was going to paint that droplet, I'd paint one side of it white.
Yeah.
And the other side would have yellows and greens and purples. That's interesting. That made me really happy. It's the little things to look up for and get interested in. So that's your G and your I, and then comes your two F's. Forgiveness is the big one.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we have to forgive ourselves. I was beating myself up over choices I made to get involved in the Mennonites, to get involved in my marriage. We beat ourselves up, right? I also had an abuser to forgive. So when we forgive, so often people say, "Oh, just forgive them," and you think, "Oh, no, 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 you don't even know what he did to me. You have
Hmm.
no idea what he did to me. I can't forgive him." Forgiveness is for yourself.
I love that. Forgiveness is for
Forgiveness
yourself.
is for yourself. Forgive and let it go for you because you don't want to be down in that dirty trash can anymore with that problem. You have a new clean slate. You don't want to bring that onto that slate with you. Then the last one is the F for freedom.
Freedom.
And I'm not talking about, we live in a country of freedom. So many of us do anyway, if we're in the United States, right? I'm talking about the freedom that we have inside our soul
Hmm.
to be ourselves. So that's why the first question, what would I love, is so important because, or what color do I love? What do I love? Because then I'm allowed to be myself. If I answer that question honestly, I love to wear red rubber boots, and I don't care if they match my outfit or not. I love it. I love to jump in a pool of water with my clothes on. I
Mm.
love it. It doesn't matter what you love, but be yourself. Give yourself the freedom to not care what anybody else thinks anymore.
Oh my gosh, that's my personal mantra as well. That's what being unapologetic is, where you
Really?
you make no apologies for who you are, right?
That's right. That's
Speaking of
right.
red, did you notice this? See, my Apple Watch.
That's awesome. You have a red. Oh, I like it.
So, before we continue, I want to ask people who are watching right now, feel free to ask questions. So we'd love to answer your questions. Lesley is here to answer your questions. So we do also have a couple of comments from people. So let's take a look at some of your raving fans. So you have a fan from Seattle, Washington, who's saying hello. Um, Jennifer is saying yay.
Oh,
Okay.
hi,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
So Lisa is saying woohoo. Okay, so
Woohoo,
there's
Lisa.
there.
This is
So
my name sister. Do you see that?
yes, yes, that's right. So You have another person. Hello, my dear friend Lesley. You are amazing. Healthy Pie says, Healthy Pie has a question. So the question of Healthy Pie is, does everyone get drawn to the same color? So her question is jumping off from your story that you
Mhm.
were drawn to red, but can
Mhm.
somebody else be drawn to a different color? Let's say green, yellow, or turquoise, or maize. All these bizarre color names.
Well, actually, that's a wonderful question. Thank you, my friend Nicole. Um, it's amazing because if you go into the science of color, and I get really geeked out about this stuff, so bear with me. But the science of color is so amazing. Each
Mhm,
color represents emotions that we have inside of us. So if you're drawn to a certain color, it means something to you. I
mhm,
believe it means something to you. You know, red is excited, right? It's love, it's electric, it's awareness. It can mean danger, right?
mhm,
Different colors have different meanings like that, and that's why I created my color mapping mini course,
mhm.
because it helps us go through those colors and the words and the emotions, what they represent, and how do they apply to us, and how can we insert it more into our lives. The coolest thing ever is that color even has wavelengths.
Okay.
So red has the biggest and longest wavelengths.
Mhm.
And that's why when you go into water, like if you have a red swimsuit on and you go into water, if you really think about it, you don't see red anymore because the water takes the longest wavelengths and takes it away. It's
Mhm.
scientific. I cannot explain it all. But as you go on the color wheel, the next color is the next one that goes away in the water. So when you actually see someone in a red swimsuit in the water, you're actually your brain tells you it's red because it already saw it. But if you look next time, you're not seeing red. It's more like a black or a gray.
So
So
you mean
it's
to say the
also
Baywatch
interesting.
So you mean to say the Baywatch people got it incorrect because all these Baywatch swimsuits are red as they're running slow motion in the beach, right? They're wearing
No,
those
no,
red.
they're right because you should wear a red swimsuit.
So we have another comment. So Marvin Agustin says gratitude. It's one of the most powerful words in 2020. He is
Mhm.
grateful to be breathing and with his family. Thank you
Oh,
very
I
much,
love that. Thank you,
Marvin.
Marvin.
So let's go talk about this story of being stuck, right? And I
Mhm.
really admire the courage that you had to pull yourself out of a situation that you were no longer happy in. And
Right.
I would imagine that many people who are watching the show right now, they might be in that same situation themselves, where they are stuck
Mhm.
in a situation that they don't like. The situation is slowly draining the life away from them. However, at the same time, the situation is the life they've always known. So there's an internal conflict. Do I leave this situation? And if I
Mhm.
leave this situation, what on earth is going to happen to me? I'm going to lose so much. So for people who are afraid to leave a situation that is unhealthy for them, but they
Mhm.
feel because they feel like they will lose so much, what would your advice be so that they can uproot themselves from that situation?
Mhm. Well, you know, it's difficult because every situation is different, but I would ask myself, when I get to the end of my life, if I'm still here, am I going to feel like I fulfilled what I came for, what I was created for? I my answer was no. You know, when I get to the end of my life, am I going to be able to say that being in the Mennonites and allowing myself to continue to be mistreated, was that going to
Warning,
fulfill for
primary
me and
power
my family?
set. Hmm.
You know?
So I love that because I have a similar test in my life. I call it if I'm gonna die today test.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if I'm going to die today test is very simple. I would imagine that I'd forward my life to my deathbed. I'm lying in my deathbed. I have a few breaths left in my life. And when I look back
Mhm.
at my life though, and I ask myself, is the life I live something that I would have been happy with?
Right.
And I think you can make those, and that's what will make those changes, right? But
Right.
no, I guess, let's say I guess it's easier said than done, right?
It is.
I
It
mean,
is. Do the next thing is what I would say after that.
Uh,
Someone once told me, Lesley, just do the next thing. So what was the next step for me? You know, the next step was to I had changed myself into somebody I wasn't any longer. I was in a place where other people were making decisions for my life.
mhm.
What was the next thing I could do? And I
Do
got to the place where there was no other thing to do but leave.
mm,
And I can't answer. I don't have a magical formula for someone who's in abuse and need to leave. If you want to change your life, and you say you're in a job you hate this job,
mhm.
start dreaming. What would you love? Start
Oh.
attracting that. Start writing down what you would love. Make a vision board and start taking the steps towards what you would love.
So I like this idea because this imagery that you drew out, the idea that you're stuck in a job that you hate. I think for a lot of people, they might not be in, let's say, a Mennonite society, but they might
Right.
be in something like a job that they currently hate. They hate the job. It's sucking their life out of them. They have a boss that's making their life hell, a very toxic boss, right? But it's
Hmm.
difficult to leave the job because you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I mean, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to survive out of this job, right? I love what you just said, the idea that you have to ask yourself, what is it that you love, right?
Hmm.
Because maybe many people are stuck in that job. They're not asking that question anymore. They've stopped. They've forgotten what
Hmm.
it is that they love. And and does that therefore mean, Lesley, that part of what will uproot us from situations that we're trapped in is identifying a dream that is a better situation that we want to move towards.
Right. Absolutely. And also identifying, let's go back to freedom.
Uh-huh.
So often we don't leave something like that, a situation like that we could leave. We could. It's not just the what ifs. It sometimes comes down to, what will mom and dad think?
Mm,
My parents put me through college. What will my spouse think? That
yeah.
conversation to have with your spouse is difficult. What will, where will I be in a year?
What will my
And of
friends
course,
say?
yeah, what will my coworkers say?
Mm,
Oh my goodness, they can be brutal.
yeah.
So the question is giving yourself, what is it that you're going to need to give yourself the freedom to do what you love? And sometimes it's a process. It's a process of
Mm,
writing down, what is it that I want? What is it that is keeping me stuck here? And identifying those things that you could knock down. And I I love this analogy because, we think of a wall. I'm up
mm.
against a brick wall. We'll even say that. There's no way I can get past it. Well, you can get past brick walls by changing them into veils.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
So change
So,
the walls into veils.
right. And so, what does it take? It takes a decision to change the wall of what mom and dad will think into a veil, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a decision.
So,
Some things aren't financially, things aren't always a decision, right?
mm-hmm.
But mentally, the things that we want, we have to start moving towards them by changing how we're thinking about them.
So it's really funny how you spoke about what will my mom or dad say, what will my colleagues say, what will my friends say, what will my spouse say. And
Yeah.
the way I'm now interpreting it in my head is that if there was a vacuum cleaner that was sucking out all the color in our life, it's
Mhm.
actually these opinions of other people
Right.
that restrict us. The opinion that tells you you're not supposed to wear red, and if you wear red, all of a sudden people are going to wonder, oh my gosh, why is she wearing red? Is she a harlot? Is she the wife of Satan or something like that?
Right.
And those opinions are the ones that are slowly causing us to remove the color for our lives, because our individuality, I think, is the color. The things that we love, the things that make us feel
Right.
alive, that's the color in our life. But then when
Right.
other people come in and say, no, you're not supposed to enjoy that, no, you're not supposed to do that, why are you doing that? That's like the equivalent of an eraser. It's erasing away the color, and suddenly, little by little, our life suddenly loses its color. But the sad part is, we actually give these people permission to do that.
That's right. That's right. We give away our own uniqueness and we become just another clone of everyone else, trying to fit in, trying to be. Even in the Mennonites, I was doing that. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be just like them. I
Wow.
had so much to lose when I left. I had 17 years of friendships where those people were no longer allowed to speak to me because I left. That's a
But
lot. That's like starting all over again, right?
but despite the fact you had so much to lose, you still decided to take the
That's
leap.
right. That's right.
What was the one thought that pushed you to finally decide to take that leap?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a really personal answer, and I'd love to share it with you.
Mm,
But it came to the point where the question I asked myself is, what's going to happen if I stay? And if I stay, I was, I believed I would be killed. I would be dead.
wow.
And the next question was, what will happen if I leave? And of
Mm,
course, that was loaded because if I get found, I'll be killed. My kids will be taken from me.
mhm.
But the biggest chance was leaving. the
The big,
biggest the biggest positive chance, the biggest jump was leaving, because leaving, what if I left and everything turned out okay?
mm.
And it did.
And
Thankfully
I'm
it did.
sure it turned out okay.
Yes.
So, what's your message of hope then for people who are in the same situation like you right now, who want to leave a situation that they're in, but they're terrified. They're terrified that that decision to leave might kill them. What would your message of hope be for those people?
Wow, Francis. Keep hanging on to hope.
Keep hanging on.
Hang on to hope, even if you just got your little finger hooked around hope.
Uh huh.
Keep hanging on, because when we lose hope, we lose everything. And keep remembering that nobody can take who you are inside. They
Mm,
can rob you of your outside appearance. They can hurt you. They can call you all manner of names, but nobody can take your essence and who you are inside.
mm.
That color we're talking about, right?
That color. So, who you are inside, color is the perfect metaphor for that.
Yes.
Don't allow people to rob that color from within you. And again,
Yes.
like what we said, every person has a different color. Some
Mhm.
people will be blue, some people will be green, some people will be yellow, some people will be lavender. So each and every one of us, we have our own color, right? But the
Yes.
objective is guard that color and protect it, and don't allow anyone to suck the color out of your life. Wow, that's
Right.
powerful. That's
And
powerful.
again, back to the red swimsuit.
Uh-huh.
You might be drowning in that water, but your swimsuit might look black or dark brown in that drowning. But honestly, when you get pulled out, it's still red.
Yeah. And that's when you know David Hasselhoff or Pamela Anderson has pulled you out, right? At least for people of my age. For the younger people, I think for them it's like Zac Efron or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
right? So I love it. I love how you're now helping people rediscover their color. And for all of you guys, for all of the members of the Unapologetic Tribe right now, Lesley has a special gift for you. And Lesley, what is that? What is
That is
that gift?
my gift to you all, is my color mapping mini course.
Mm-hmm.
It's a PDF download where you can map out your own colors and the emotions behind them, and kind of take yourself on a little curiosity journey. See what you find about yourself.
So, guys, if you want to avail of that free mini course on color mapping, go to www.leslieRosas.com. So the link is there. So click on that. Get in touch with Lesley. Oh my gosh, she's gonna blow your world. She's gonna inject so much color in your world. And don't be surprised if after your conversation, you're gonna go shopping and look for that piece of colored clothing, colored shoe that will best represent you. So my suggestion is go to that. Lesley, at the same time, how do they get in touch with you? How can they connect with you?
They can connect with me on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
which is Lesley Sanders Rosas,
Uh-huh.
or on Instagram, Color Me Unstoppable. And then, of course, my website.
Oh, your website. Very good. Very
Mhm.
good. So
Mhm.
those are the ways to contact. I would strongly suggest that you guys get in touch with Lesley. Okay. On my end, I'd also like to invite you guys, if you've not done so, please also join our Unapologetics group on Facebook. So we come up with a lot of content like this. So Lesley's interview is just among the many pieces of content that we create. We also have an Instagram page. I have an Instagram page called Francis Mir, so you can connect with me on that, and you can also get in touch with us on LinkedIn at Francis Miranda. So, Lesley, before we end today, what is your final word to people who are living their lives in black and white?
Look up, find something to be grateful for, and insert unstoppable color into your life.
Insert,
You are so powerful, and you have so much inside of you to offer this world. Don't hide it. Let it shine.
let it shine. So,
Mhm.
all of my friends out there, get ready, shake the dust off those red shoes, and show them off to the world.
That's right.
So thank you very much, Lesley. This has been a marvelous, marvelous
Thank you,
30
Francis.
minutes with you. So we're very grateful that you joined us in today's show. And we look forward, I really look forward to you helping other people
Yes.
rediscover the color in their lives. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yay.
On behalf of
Thank you.
Unapologetic, we'd like to thank you for being here. And for all of you guys who are watching the replay, reach out to Lesley, connect with her. She'll be more than willing to help you guys out. So on behalf of Unapologetic, it's your unapologetic dude, Francis Miranda. As always, I'll see you soon. Bye guys.